But now I know we're both Midwest guys, but here in Texas they do things differently. What's up, buddy?
We're probably good for a card dump here in a second.
Okay, well, quick, like, what's a second?
When you're done with this line of questioning.
Okay. Beans or no beans?
Oh, for chili? You gotta have beans.
Oh man,
yeah,
you're such a Midwest. Man,
you gotta have beans.
That's such. Yes, I don't like beans, but that's funny.
Yeah.
I think that is a Texas thing. No beans.
Yeah, it
or
is.
most people anyway.
Yeah, I was tripped out when they said no beans. I didn't even know that was a thing. And I'd never had brisket before I moved to Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's a pot roast up north.
Yes, yes, Minnesota.
Yeah.
Barbecue wasn't a thing. Chili, yes, beans were always same thing. When I got here, I'm like, they make chili without beans.
I know.
Yes.
Yeah, but I'm a fat kid, so I'll eat anything. Yeah, I'm not picky.
Do you fashion yourself a music? You said the '90s music you liked.
Oh yeah.
Now, are you a country music fan?
I do, man. I like country, but
Okay.
I like mostly. I mean, '90s
Okay.
country was really good.
Yes. How about red dirt or or bro country?
Red dirt or what?
Red dirt or bro country?
Bro country. What's that?
Oh, Florida Georgia line.
Oh no, red dirt. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, no, I gotta go red dirt.
Yes,
yeah.
good. All right.
Yeah.
All right. I knew I liked you a lot, Graham. Okay, this is a fun one. This is right in your wheelhouse. And this might be controversial for you. Classic or exotic?
Oh, that's really tough.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
I'm really honestly like in the middle, but so if I had to drive one, I'd probably go exotic, but I appreciate the classics more, if that makes sense. So
Okay.
like, because I'm a technology guy, so I love the new cars and all the technology, but I appreciate the classics way more. I mean, like, we've been getting a string of classics coming through lately. We had a 54 Studebaker drag car come through that was actually in magazines back in the day. It was an awesome car that just came through. We've had a couple classic Porsches come through recently. We actually have an MGB midget in the shop right now. I don't even know if that's technically politically correct now, but that's what they called them.
Yeah.
But if I had to drive one, I'm probably going for the exotics because the performance is insane, but by far have more appreciation for the classics. But now, if I owned one, I'd go for a Resto Mod. Like, I want the classic body, but I want the new drivetrain, the new motor, because I want the reliability where I can just jump in that car and drive cross country and not worry about carburetors. And I love reliability. Like, one of my biggest pet peeves is a car that doesn't work. Like, I've literally
and
sold
those old
cars.
cars had a very much a tendency to not work.
Yep, I've sold cars because they don't run right. Like, it drives me nuts. So I want something turnkey. Head
Go
down
for
the road.
it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I like yes. I was interested to see where you were going to fall on that because you see a lot of different cars. So, all right. What is since you've only been here 5 years, what is your favorite thing about Texas?
So I've been in Texas since 2003.
Oh.
Yeah. So I got stationed down here in 03.
Oh, so a long time then.
So one of my favorite things about Texas, man, the climate. I think actually that's a double-edged sword. I love Texas about 8 months out of the year climate-wise. The 4 months, the heat kills me. And then just the economy, man. Like the economy down here is good. The politics. I mean, the culture in Texas is really good, man.
All right.
Especially if you stay out of the big cities. I mean, like Temple. We lived out in Hamilton for 10 years. Love the culture in Texas. I love the belief system in general. I think people are good down here, and I believe that I feel like people for the most part believe in doing the right thing and like the Constitution and stuff like that down here. Yeah, so,
I agree.
Yeah.
Now, every place has its warts. Is there something that I guess the hot weather is that maybe your least favorite thing?
That's why I'm gone so much during the summer.
All right. And since you're from out of state, just quickly, maybe your favorite and least thing about South Dakota.
Gosh, it's almost the same thing. Yeah, I love the summers up there.
4 months out of the year up there.
I love like later spring, summer, and early fall up there. But then, don't miss the winters.
All right, cool. All right. Oh, we're gonna keep her going. All right. Well, I think it's your turn to roll here. Yeah.
All right. So it's a 9.
And that is worth 75 cents.
75.
So that's that 5. Yep. Put the 5 in
50
there.
and a 20.
No, just put a 5.
Okay. And then
no, just the $5 one.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
we're not splitting it. Just 5. Yeah. All right. Well,
so we don't move it at all.
Oh no, the 9 stay there.
Okay.
Well, I feel like we've got to know you. I could have asked you 1,000 different questions, but I feel like we've gotten to know you quite a bit personally. now I'd like to let you just talk about your business, and we'll ask you about that and highlight that about you. So, why did you decide to go the entrepreneurial route?
So I kind of grew up, around a lot of my family owned a lot of businesses. Like, so my grandfather, my dad's dad, actually started Robert Short and Sons Construction Company back in the '60s, and like this guy's more of a man than I'll ever be. He started it literally with a shovel and a dump truck, and then built it up to something that's still going today. My uncle and aunt still own it. My dad still works with the company.
So 2 generations so far. Okay.
And so I grew up with them doing that, and then my grandfather, my mom's dad, was a huge entrepreneur. I mean, he owned everything from like printing businesses to greenhouse construction, property ownership, management. I mean, like, he was a huge entrepreneur, and I probably favor him a lot in that aspect.
Okay.
And then my mom actually owned a catering business and restaurant. Later in my high school, that started to grow for her. So kind of had that already seeded in me.
It was modeled for you for a long time.
And I've always kind of had that mentality, and working for the nursing home industry before I started this, it was always kind of so like. Long story short, I started detailing in like 2010, and it kind of started on accident. I've been a huge car fanatic since I was like 10 years old. Like I got the Motor Trend and Car and Driver subscription since that was like one of my presents. That was every year, and so I've always been a huge car fanatic. So fast forward to 2010, I decided to go back to Tarleton State with my GI Bill. I had my post 9/11 GI Bill, so. I had a Jeep at the time that I would take off-roading and stuff like that. And literally the way it started, me and some buddies from church out in Hamilton, we took our Jeeps out off-road, and I showed up to church the next day and my Jeep was all cleaned up. And they're like, dude, who detailed your Jeep? And I was like, I did it myself. And they were like, if we paid you, would you do it for us? And so it kind of turned, that's literally how the detailing started.
That's cool.
And I was actually bartending at the time to supplement my income while I was in school. And so it just kind of got the juices flowing in the brain, like, man, I could actually schedule this. I don't have to work late at night. I could just schedule detailing around my school schedule. So I started doing that, and by the time I graduated in 2013 with my second degree, I had a pretty big customer base built up. And I thought I wanted to do that. I got a really good job offer, to do this marketing for the nursing home, and so I didn't completely walk away from it. I kind of did it as a side hustle because I just really enjoyed detailing and kind of kept up with the industry. Well, in 2016, I was kind of at my wit's end with the company that I was working for. And so I found this really good product line that I liked at the time. And I was like, man, I'm going to start it, And so I didn't just like completely just drop everything I was doing and walk away. So I officially started Bulldog in June of 2016. And I actually hired a guy and trained him. And so in June, he was doing the detailing. I was marketing it. I was helping him when I could, on the weekends and the evenings, whatever. I was still doing it. But then by August of 2016, just a couple of months after I started it, we actually had enough business coming in that I put in my month notice and walked away after that and went full time. And then, but that was kind of how it all started, and
just kind of started out of the
it literally started on accident because I just found something that I was good at. And, over a few years, it just kind of came to fruition that I could do this full time. And because it was always kind of in the back of my head when I kind of walked away from it in 2013, like, what would have happened, if I had gone for it, and now we're kind of finding that out now.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Was it maybe the freedom to be your own boss, or family, or usually finances, you thought it was going to be this big, bunch of cash sitting on your desk.
Everybody thought I was insane. I mean, I literally started Bulldog officially 22 days before Tucker was born.
Wow.
Yeah, June of 2016. And once again, I didn't go full time right away, but man, honestly, for me, my original goal was if I had a cool shop and a couple of employees and I was making 60 or 70 grand a year, cool. That was honestly my dreams and hopes at the beginning. I wanted to do something that I enjoyed and could make a living doing, because before I was just getting ate up by the corporate life, it was just wearing me out. And so that was honestly my original goal, was just to have a cool shop. And because in Hamilton, the cost of living was so cheap. And Jennifer being a nurse, like, dude, if we both made between 120 to 150 grand a year, I mean, that's you're balling out.
You're
in
living
Hamilton.
the high life
Yeah,
out
you're doing
there.
well out there with that. And so
Okay.
that was the original goal, but then the ceramic coatings are what changed everything because unintentionally I was the first guy to do it in this area, and just it exploded the company.
Huh.
So
Well, how did you come up with the name Bulldog then?
Hamilton Bulldogs. I was marketing to the local
Really?
community.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's cool.
The Hamilton
Okay.
Bulldogs, like that's, and honestly, like if I would have known this was all, or if this would have been my plan to grow out, I don't know if I would have named it Bulldog. I probably would have came up with a kind of a more generic name, but that was never in my scope at the beginning. Was
Okay.
So yeah, I was
It just
literally
stuck,
just
huh?
marketing to the community that I loved, And
Sure.
so yeah.
All right. Politicians would call that pandering.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, it is what it is. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you answered it. I mean, that's what made you start it. It's just someone asking you a question, and you just, I guess I'm good
Yeah.
at this.
Yep. And,
Okay.
and Bulldog was also named because I wanted to be involved in the community, which we still do to this day. I mean, we probably sponsor more. Our sponsoring budget is probably more than most detailing companies' marketing budget in general. I mean, we
Okay.
sponsor a lot of stuff.
Your name's all over the place. But
yeah.
like you said, well, we'll allude to this later on.
Yeah. It's all about giving back to the community that's given us a ton.
Yeah.
So
how does your business help other businesses or people? I mean, how?
So we've built up a really neat network. So like I've got a lot of customers that'll call me just for referrals, like because we've been in it, for going on 8 years now in Central Texas. So if somebody needs a good paint and body shop, we've got multiple shops that we just know are good. Like we've really built a neat network in the automotive industry. I mean, right next door here in Temple, Sean has Extreme Hail and Dent.
There you go.
I met Sean. Gosh, it's probably going on 3 years ago now when we were still at our old shop, or about 2.5 years ago, over by BMW. We had a hailstorm, and he was just looking. He was kind of mostly mobile and like all over the country at the time, but he's a local guy.
Okay.
He needed shop space to handle hail vehicles, and so we sublet out one of our bays at the time. And then we decided to move to this big new shop that we're at now on West Adams, and he was subleasing a bay from us there. And then the shop right next to us actually opened up. Our landlord actually bought it and renovated it. And so now Sean has his own shop right next to us, and we refer business back
There you go.
all day long. I mean, it's
Yeah,
awesome.
hand in glove kind of stuff there.
But yeah, locally, a lot of well-known businesses like Holman Outfitters. Jeff Holman's an awesome guy, good friend. We send a lot of business back and forth. Obviously, the dealerships we're involved with Don Ringler and Johnson Brothers.
Okay.
Both really, really great local business owners that we've had the privilege to work with, Cleo Bay Honda and Colleen. And so virtually there's almost anything automotive related. We've like really built a cool network to where we're just a lot of small businesses
Helping each other.
helping each other out, and supporting each other that way. And that's probably been one of the neatest things to come out of it, is because we all employ people too, so we're all helping support a lot of families.
that's
When
it,
you
the small-
put that into a big pot, that's a lot of employees, and just helping each other out that way.
Well, this seems pretty obvious. Who is your ideal customer?
The ideal customer,
For Bulldog.
yeah, I don't want this to come off bad. The ideal customer is not worried about the cost, they're worried about the quality. That's the ideal customer. So it was really interesting when I first started the company. I really marketed heavily towards car guys, and I've always said car guys are some of the best people I've met and some of the worst people I've met, because there's the car guy that loves their car and they don't care what it costs, they just want the quality right. That's our guy.
Yep.
There's the other car guy that, I've got a big Instagram following, give me free stuff and I'll put your name on there, and it virtually does nothing for you. Like, that's not the car guy I like. The car guys. So I went through a really tough situation back in 2019 that really made me refocus a lot of our attention, and we still market a lot to the car guys, but we're more selective on that. But we changed our marketing to the professionals, because we found that like doctors, lawyers, I mean, those folks, their time is limited. They just want the quality. And so and they love our valet service, because a lot of the professionals are really tied down. So come pick up our car and bring it back to us. We'll just give you our money and our keys so you can take the car. And like they don't, I mean, they obviously aren't dumb about pricing it,
Yeah,
but they
yeah,
know
obviously.
that you get what you pay for, and that's more like what we're about. Like,
Sure.
we're not going to be the cheapest guy, but we're going to strive to give you the best customer service experience, the best quality product out there. And I mean, I've literally spent more in my education in detailing than I did on my previous 2 degrees. I've traveled all over the country. I've been trained by some of the best companies out there, and the companies we use, like Expel and G-Technic and Glass Parency and a lot of the other companies, Pt5, P&S Chemicals, they're some of the best in the industry, and we've been trained by a lot of those guys and certified by them.
Okay.
And so that's our ideal customer, is not so worried about the cost, but more
What
about
it's gonna-
what we do, you know. And
Well, and I guess that, I mean, you kind of alluded. Why should people use you then when they have so many other choices? I mean, because quality is what you're striving for.
one of the craziest examples I've seen where it was on the ceramic coating side. It's been a few years ago. This guy had a Roush Mustang, came to us for a quote. I think it was like $1,200 for a 5-year coating. Found some guy that was doing it from his house. Nothing wrong with that. That's how I started my business, out of my driveway.
Yeah.
But the guy didn't know what he was doing with a buffer and with ceramic coatings. And what a lot of people don't know, a true ceramic coating, when it's fully cured out, you got to wet sand it to get it off. I mean, it's hard. It's a very
Okay.
hard coating. So went to this guy. This guy just completely destroyed the paint with a buffer, like swirls and holograms everywhere, and then locked it in with a ceramic coating. So this guy comes to us just distraught because it was a pretty rare Roush Mustang, a very rare color combo. It was a rare car. Comes to us almost in tears, and that $1,200 job turned into almost a $4,000 job because we had to. We spent almost a week fixing that car because we had to get that old ceramic off, try and correct the paint without burning it, and then burning it. I mean, it was a nightmare. But that was one of those guys. He was trying to find the cheapest job, and he got what he paid for, you know. And
Yeah.
and I hated to say that to him. I was like, dude, like if you would have came to us in the first place and spent $1,200, you would have gotten the right job done instead of spending, gosh, like $4,400 or $4,500.
And have the chance at ruining your car,
Yeah.
especially that expensive of a car.
Yep. And so, that's.
Well, what is ceramic coating then?
So
Because I don't know much about it, and most people probably
So in
don't.
layman's terms, it's basically a semi-permanent wax replacement. So most manufacturers recommend that you wax your vehicle every like 3 to 6 months to protect it, especially Texas. I mean, super hot elements. You see a lot of cars down here, clear coat's fading away, you know, it's going away. That's from the elements in Texas. So
Okay.
you need to have some sort of protection on there. So ceramic is like a wax on major steroids, to where, you know, because wax, you just polish it off or use alcohol and it'll wipe, it'll strip the wax off. You can literally take Dawn dish soap and it'll take a wax off your paint.
That is like WD-40 for the kitchen.
Yeah, it's
Dawn dish soap. It'll do everything.
Yeah, and I know people that wash their cars with that. You only use Dawn dish soap to strip the paint. You don't want to wash that on a regular. You don't want to use that.
Really?
Oh, yeah, you don't want to use that.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Because it's
Okay.
taking all your protection off. So ceramic is going to be your. Like, we have ceramics that last up to 9 years on your paint, so you don't have to wax it every 3 to 6 months. You just wash it, and it also makes it really easy to clean. So, you know, bugs wipe off super easy, road grime, tar, you know, stuff like that.
Okay.
And it also can act as a sacrificial layer, to where, you know, if you catch a minor scratch or something, hopefully that coating is going to take that scratch. You can just buff off the coating and reapply it, as opposed to that scratch digging into your clear coat. And the surface is super slick, makes your car look like it's wet. I mean, it's it's pretty cool
Showroom
stuff.
quality.
100%, yeah.
Oof.
And we typically have anywhere from 8 to 20 man hours into those jobs, depending on because it's all about the quality of the paint. If we get a really scratched up vehicle, it's going to take a lot more paint correction, which is buffing and polishing to fix that, because you don't want to put a coating on a really scratched up surface. You want to make sure that surface is prepped and looking as good as possible before you put it on. So yeah.
Wow, it sounds like a neat product.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, it sounds like you hit a home run when you started offering it before other people.
Well, I mean, just from a financial standpoint, you know, I can do a coating in a day to 2 days by myself back in those days and get paid anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000. To do $1,000 to $2,000 in detailing by yourself in 2 days,
You're doing all right.
You physically can't, unless
Oh.
because I mean, like, our average detail is $250. One guy can probably do 2 to 3 of those in a day, but you're hustling, like, so
Okay.
really 3 or 4 days to make that kind of money, and you can do that in a day or 2 days now.
Yeah.
So it
More
changed our
efficient,
business
yeah.
overnight. And
Interesting.
yeah.
Well, we were kind of talking off off camera when we were waiting for some stuff. What is what's the biggest challenge you're facing in your business right now, or in the industry, I guess?
Staffing. I mean, it's
Finding good people. Huh?
Finding good people, man. The business, surprisingly, because we know we're a luxury business at the end of the day, business is really held pretty strong even through a tough economy. But just finding people that want to come in and work, I feel like the mentality, like looking at like our parents and grandparents, like you'd see people like how long you worked for your company, 30, 40 years, retiring, they worked one job their whole life. Like, man, if you get a year or 2 years out of somebody now, that's pretty long anymore. And like finding that mentality, like from working from the ground up instead of I should just walk in and get paid a bunch of money. You don't find a lot of people that understand the concept of you start off as a base detailer, but yeah, you can work your way up and make $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 a year with us. But that doesn't you don't just walk into that unless you come from somewhere else that you've already got a ton of experience in, which is pretty rare. So just finding those people that want to come in and work, and just work their way up the ladder is getting more and more challenging. Like before, and I think COVID had a lot to do with it, man. And like before COVID hit, we could just literally put a post up on Facebook, hey, we're hiring, and we get flooded with applications, like 30 or 40 applications in 2 or 3 days. Now we're on Indeed. I mean, we're on all these different platforms hiring, and we're lucky if we see a couple applications a week. And like I said, we had 2 new hires starting today. One was a no-call, no-show, and we pretty much expect that to happen. I mean, it's just you just got to kind of just go through a bunch until you find a couple of good ones.
Well, at least granted, the guy. But at least those don't cost you as much money.
No, he does us a favor. Yeah.
You filter. People usually self-filter, and
no, it's a huge favor. I'd rather them do that than
you
come
train
work for us for a
month
couple weeks. Yeah, and then got all that time and energy into them, and then just walk away. So, yeah.
All right, we were talking about this too. You were just saying because you sponsor a lot of things around the community. How important do you think it is for small business owners to be involved in their community?
As much as they can, and one thing I try to tell people, because I have a hard time saying no to sponsorships, man. I want to help everybody, but like if a business tells you no, it's probably because they can't. Like it's not because they don't want to. It's probably because they can't. They've got small businesses have tight budgets in a lot of areas, and a lot of them don't have a ton of money for marketing, which sponsorships and stuff like that fall under it. So one thing I just want to encourage people, like if you ask a small business to sponsor like a little league, like I think we're sponsoring 2 little league teams right now, but like if they tell you no, it's probably because they just can't. It's not because they're jerks and they don't want to or whatever. It's probably because they can't. Like yeah, I mean I don't know how else to
you're
say
right.
It
is.
But I think it's super important for us to be as involved as we can, if that's with our time or whatever. Do as much as you can, because at the end of the day, it's the communities that are supporting us too. So whatever your way is to give back, give back. If it's time or if it's money, or you don't even have to spend money. You can go down to the local food bank and volunteer your time. So just But I think that's important for small businesses to stay connected that way, just to also stay humble in what we're doing. All
right. Yeah, that's true. Very true.
One of the biggest failures, and I've been guilty of it, is when you're riding high, you kind of lose focus on some of that stuff. And I've been through that, where I've been through periods of time where I've either just been completely burned out, or business is just really good and I just kind of lose focus and I'm just kind of off doing my own thing. And I think it's important to stay connected in your community whatever way you can.
Yeah. Well, and you hear stories too of, sometimes a small business will come down on hard times, but during those times they were good to everyone. And all of a sudden you see the community all of a sudden, and this is a little bit of Hollywood talk, like you see that all of a sudden they show up to work and there's like 500 people out there and they're just ready to hand them money. It's like, we've always been here, we want to support you because you always supported us, type of deal.
And I think now more than ever, supporting small business is just so important. I mean, there's a lot of small businesses out there giving everything they've got, and they're literally the backbone of our country. I mean, if small business went away, I mean, nothing against the big box stores, man, but like they don't put into it what these small business owners do. I mean,
there's boardrooms are making decisions instead of
gas prices go up. big box stores prices go up. Small businesses don't always get that luxury, and please stop asking small businesses for discounts all the time. Like, you walk into Walmart and just ask them for a discount.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
I've literally had other small businesses try and give me discounts on stuff just because I own Bulldog or whatever, and they know I've sent them business. No, dude, what's your price? Like,
Yes, I
paying
agree with you on that.
I if you're listening or you watch this and you're a small business, don't give me a discount. I want to pay whatever your retail price is. Like, I don't want discounts. Now, if I go to Walmart, I'll take a discount from Walmart all day long.
Yeah,
It'll be
exactly.
okay. Like,
You're not gonna. It's not gonna hurt them
yeah,
one bit.
you know, it's but yeah, just stop asking small businesses for discounts. I mean, they're out there working just as hard as everybody else. You know.
Yes.
And support them.
Well, and that's it. You know, sometimes with what I do, people are, it's kind of high. It's like, well, you don't understand. I pay taxes just like you. I want to grow this business.
Yeah.
I want to help give. Those things all cost money.
Yeah.
And I'm not. I don't have people funneling money into my business.
Mm-hmm.
That's the money I am earning that I have to set aside.
I've had to explain it multiple times. People, why are you so expensive? And I can go have Joe Schmo do it for this. Well, Joe Schmo's probably doing it under the table, so he's not paying taxes. He's not paying for a building to employ more people. He's literally probably doing it under the table illegally, if you really want to get down to the nuts and bolts of it. We're doing everything the right way. We're paying insurances. We're paying rent. We're paying payroll taxes. That's another thing a lot of people don't realize. Like, employers have to pay payroll taxes on top. So, employees get, taxes taken out. I have to pay taxes to have employees. Like, a lot of people don't know that. Like, and I pay a lot of money every month for our 20 plus employees.
Don't get me started on that.
Yeah, I mean, so there's a reason why small businesses charge their prices. It's not just because we're stacking up the $100 bills. Like, we've got a lot of expenses that a lot of people don't know about.
Yes.
I can't tell you how many people I've talked to that don't even know anything about payroll taxes. They think it's just Social Security and all that stuff. They don't know that business is
on the hook for that stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.